Threshold Singers is a program that started at Hospice Slow in about 2015. It's really just about bringing comfort and love to people whose worlds have gotten really small. Plus, a lot of times people who are in those situations, they don't get to hear live music anymore because they can't really leave their house and they can't travel places, so being able to do that is really special.
Drift away.
What I think is really important for the community to know is that all the services that we provide at Hospice Slow are at no charge. It's really important because at a time when you're suffering grief or you're facing your own death, there can always be that fear of, I may not have money to pay for this if I need to go get help to talk to someone, or I need someone to come in and help provide a little bit of respite care for my loved one who's ill.
Hospice has an impact on so many lives, and it's not ones that we necessarily think of. The first ones we think of are our clients, those that are ending their lives or continue their lives with support, and their caregivers. It also supports the animals. The animals live longer, their people live longer. I'm an in-home care person, and I also take care of her pets. We take them to the vet, we take them for shots, we take them to the groomer, I take them for walks. That allows my client to keep her pets as long as possible. Just knowing that someone is there to support you in your everyday life and allowing you to have the dignity of staying in your own home is what I do.
The thing I've always found really compelling about Hospice Slow is that they're there for anybody. And so I lost my mom when I was 16, and by the time I even knew that there was such a thing as hospice, I was already, long into my 20s. And so finding out that there was an organization that could help you deal with grief issues even from so far back really made an impression on me. And it's a really unusual thing to have an organization like that can offer such a wide breadth of programs dealing with grief and really understanding how to honor the process of end of life. And I think that's something that, since we're all going to have to deal with it, it's something that's important for all of us to know about.
To me, this is a wonderful organization. Hospice is one of the most important things there is, because you need help to get through grief. I don't know how anyone does it alone. And there's individual counseling, group counseling, just anything anyone could possibly want. Plus, most of the people doing groups have also been through it. And that's extremely, extremely important.
I think I got more out of it than I gave to it, because it really is an honor to be with people at that time. And it's a positive way of looking at the end of life, which is simply another step in life, the same as birth. And we celebrate birth, and we need to celebrate the end also.
It's very rewarding, much more than I thought it would be. I get a lot of joy from the time I spend with my client, and it reaches more than just my client. It reaches her caregiver and members of her family, and they're so appreciative.
What this agency does is fills in all the spaces for people at the end of their life or in their dying that maybe they would otherwise not have services and resources for. This organization can take care of an individual when they no longer qualify for home health but are not ready for a medical hospice. We can assist individuals much earlier in their disease process, sometimes at time of diagnosis, rather than in the last 6 months of their life.
When my mother died, I was distraught and couldn't function in my daily activities, and I was a shell of my former self, and I didn't think I'd ever make it back, but I did through the hospice services. It's a safe place to be heard, to cry, to keep talking about your loss. When everyone else is tired of hearing it, you can come here and continue to talk about it until you're done. It's life-saving, it's life-changing. Everyone that I've met through hospice has just been top rate.
Watching it evolve has been very rewarding, because when I first started, really almost 40 years ago, nobody knew what hospice was. Developing the children's program, developing the pet loss program was very fulfilling, and again, a very needed thing for our community. Now, everybody knows hospice. And what that means is that they have an opportunity to deal with death differently and more comfortably.
My wife, Carrie, died last November. I was Carrie's primary exclusive caregiver until about the last 6 weeks, at which point Carrie wanted support from her end-of-life doula colleagues. And it was huge for both of us because the end-of-life doulas are very highly trained and wise and experienced, and I could totally trust them to take care of Carrie the way I was taking care of her. Hospice became part of our family. I would strongly suggest that anyone whose family is having a member who's dying enlist hospice as an extension of their family. It'll change your life.
What I've always loved about hospice is I think it's a very creative organization that kind of follows what the community needs may be. For example, there's a program called Community Crisis Response, and what that addresses is a sudden death in area businesses, organizations, or schools. And we send out a hospice team to support the group through grief education about sudden loss and ongoing counseling here at Hospice if it's required. It's been a legacy for 40 years, and we've been very dedicated to the concept of remaining whole, innovative, and service-driven.
Peace be with you now.